Something is happening right now that is going to change the entire global economy as we know it. Many countries are now adopting digital payment systems as a means of international exchange for the dollar. Why? Why are countries ditching the dollar? The question is, what did America just do? Welcome back everybody to Moneyfest World School. This is Moses Dlamini and I am going to talk about why are countries now adopting crypto payments as a means of international transactions. Yes, this is happening and it is going to send shockwaves across the entire global economy. So sit tight. If you like this video, leave a like and make sure you subscribe. Let's get started. So let's go down memory lane. The year is 1945. World War II has just ended and the allies, that is Russia, United States and England, they come together, actually even France, they come together and decide on the fate of Germany. But one thing was still looming. How are we going to be trading with each other? They come up and say, okay, let's, instead of accepting gold, instead of accepting the GBP pound, why not use the United States dollar? All countries agree on one simple rule, that they trusted the United States. All right? And where did the trust come from? They all agreed that for every amount of dollar that is going to be printed, it is going to be backed up by a certain amount of gold in the United States Reserve Bank. Well, you know, agreements are agreements. Years pass by, and the United States is a very good country. They are printing the same amount of dollars as they have in gold. Things are so rosy. A few years pass by, and then the United States starts to get into war. I hope you remember what we call the Vietnamese War. What happened during this time? You know, war is one of the most expensive things out there. The United States starts to notice, okay, now this is really getting expensive. Where are we going to get more money? You know what they did? They started to print more money than the gold they have in the reserves. And where did they used to get this gold from? They used to get this gold from other countries. The United States used to say, okay, since we are now printing the reserve currency, you are all using the dollar, why don't you bring your gold and keep it with us? France, Britain, Germany, Russia, they all used to keep their gold in the United States Reserve Bank. A day comes in the 70s, actually it was end of 60s, United States goes to war with Vietnam. Things sour up, they are running out of money, they start to print more and more and more money than the gold they have in the bank. Other countries start to see this, they realize and like, wait, we didn't agree to this. They see that more dollars are in circulation than the gold. They start to ask to inspect where is our gold. One country fed up of this. One country got fed up of this. That is France. France came out and said, hey, listen, we are not going to accept this. Please, give us our gold. You know what the United States did? That was the era of Richard Nixon. He came out and said, oh, no. You are not taking your gold anywhere. You are keeping it here. Now, he came up with a new law and he said, we are cutting the US dollar off with compatibility with gold, meaning that the dollar could no longer be exchanged for gold. He cut off that link. But remember, the United States dollar stayed a reserve currency. This gave them power to print more and more and more dollar. Very smart guys. Okay, most countries saw this as something very negative. They decided, hey, stop cheating us. We need something which is fair, a fair system, a currency that can be exchanged for gold. The United States is like, nope, we're not going to do that. Countries start to step away. That is in the already 70s, 1973. Countries start to step away, and the United States is like, okay, let's think of a system that is going to start bringing all the countries back to the dollar. You know what they did? They did something which was genius. these guys, they are very smart. You know what they did? Nixon flew to Saudi Arabia. He knew that the entire world is going to be using oil. Everybody needs oil for cars, for every single thing out there. Now they're like, okay, how can we make the dollar very important? The guy flew to Saudi Arabia and he talked to the Saudi king and says, hey, listen, how about you start selling all your oil in the dollar? Do not accept any other currency, not even gold, but the dollar. The Saudi is like, what are we getting in return? He's like, okay, you have a lot of terrorists here, you have a lot of these things here, you have a lot of insecurity here. How about we give you security? We protect you. In exchange, you sell all your oil in the dollar. The Saudis are like, good, let's get to work. The Saudis now start only accepting the dollar. Do you see? We are moving. That is already 1973. Now, as the Saudis were the biggest miners of oil, all other countries in the OPEC, that is Qatar, United Arab Emirates, Iraq, even Russia, even other countries, big oil producers, they were like, well, why not join them? If you can't beat them, how do they say? Join them. They start selling all their oil in the dollar. And now, the entire economy, global economy, is back to the dollar. Again, people are like, well, what can we do? And this made America rich, not just rich, filthy rich. They gained a lot of money. Why? Because they could literally print and print more money non-stop. And another thing which made them really wealthy is simple. If you want to buy oil, you need the dollar. All right? But where are you going to get the dollar from? You are going to get the dollar from the United States. And how are you going to get that dollar? Simple. You have to exchange goods for the paper money. So, the United States gets a lot of goods for doing literally nothing, for literally printing a single piece of paper and giving that paper to people who now want to buy oil. Very, very wonderful strategy. The United States got so rich that today it is the single global hegemon. Well, right now, things are changing. Things are changing. How did we come to today? How come that people are abandoning the dollar? Good question. This takes us back a few years down the road. The United States starts to go into war. Libya, Syria, Iraq. Yes. And people realize, okay, where are you getting all that money you are spending? And it comes clear that these guys are spending more than they make. Have you heard of the US debt? Around $32 trillion. Way more than the GDP of the United States. Can you imagine? Almost twice the GDP of the country. So, people are like, we are literally paying for your debt. It's like having a friend who lives on debt. Every single month, he borrows money to live a luxury lifestyle he can't afford. People are like, no. That is not fair. Okay, things were quite bearable since America is the biggest economy out there. 2022 comes. Russia starts its own stuff in Ukraine. Now, the country, United States, comes out to support Ukraine. All right? What do? They did something massive that the entire economy said enough is enough. If you didn't know, let me tell you. The United States and Europe froze over $300 billion of Russian assets. Over 150 in the United States and over 150 in the EU. Countries are like, okay, now this is getting serious. So you can freeze our reserves in your country. Why? It's like me keeping my money with you, and when I come back to ask for it, You tell me, hey, listen, you beat your friend there, I want to give you your money. What? Like, what? Saudi Arabia, one of the best friends of the United States, is like, okay, now this is getting quite scary. The United Arab Emirates is like, this is quite scary. Can you imagine that a country like France came out and said, this is a big mistake. It is going to cause the collapse of the dollar. So once countries realize this, China, Russia, South Africa, Brazil, India, they're like, how can we secure our system so that nobody has full control over our reserves, over our economic systems, and over our exchanges? Did you know that Russia got over 20,000 sanctions? To put this into perspective, before then, the most sanctioned country was Iran. It had over 5,000 sanctions. All of a sudden, Russia became the most sanctioned country with over 20,000. And how did these sanctions work? They blocked transactions between Russia and other countries. Why? Come on, because they happen in the dollar. Because they use the dollar system. And countries are like, okay, if you can do this to a country like Russia, a massive economy, literally a superpower, how about us, the small countries? How about us, Saudi Arabia? What if we come and say something against you in our own interests? Aren't you going to block us too? This has sent shockwaves across the global economy. And guess what? All countries are now banding together to create a new payment system based on crypto, based on digital. Why are they using crypto? Because nobody has control over crypto. Because if we say we are going to use the Chinese yuan, the Chinese could control it. If we are going to use the Russian ruble, the Russians could control it. If we are going to use the Indian rupee, the Indians could control it. Now everybody's coming and ask, okay, how are we going to trade with each other but use a currency that no one has control over? The solution is simple. That is digital currencies. Yes, the Chinese are creating a digital yuan, Russians a digital ruble, South Africans a digital rand, and they want to create an amalgamate of a coin that could be accepted worldwide, a coin, ladies and gentlemen, that could take away the US dominance on the global economy. This is going to change the entire global economy as we know it. Are you ready for this change? I hope you are. So now that you've heard about how the US dollar is getting ditched for new payment systems, especially digital crypto payment systems, what do you think is going to happen in the future? What do you think lies in the future for crypto? I think you already know the answer. Have you placed yourself in the right position to take advantage of this? I think so. Well, I hope so. Thank you so much for watching today's video. My name again is Moses Dlamini, and I will be so glad to talk about more topics like this. By the way, if you found this interesting, like the video, subscribe, and see you on another video.